I had a few questions from a YouTuber, Timothy. Timothy's thinking about buying the iPhone 6 from Straight Talk, but then he wants to use it with Verizon Wireless Prepaid. Now, he's thinking that this is the CDMA version of the iPhone 6 that Straight Talk is selling for use with Straight Talk's Verizon network, so it should just work with Verizon Wireless Prepaid. Now, he's assuming there'll be no problem, but he's just asking me to see what I think. Well, Timothy, I'm glad you asked, and I would say don't buy this phone for this reason. You don't know whether this phone will work with Verizon Wireless Prepaid until you check, and in fact, I think you'll find out that it won't. Now, if you want to take a risk, you want to take a gamble to see if it does work for you, I'd say make sure you understand what the return policy is on this phone so you could get your money back if it doesn't work out for you. Now, let me explain here. Timothy, technically you're correct. That phone is compatible with the Verizon network. In fact, it's probably even the same iPhone 6 model that Verizon used to sell. All right, so what's the issue? Well, anytime you want to use Verizon or any prepaid wireless carrier that uses the Verizon network, you need to check the device ID, the MEID, the serial number of your specific phone to make sure that they can activate it on the network. Now, when you do that, they're going to tell you your phone is either compatible or it's not compatible. But it really means they're checking to see, can we register this specific phone on our network? And in the case of that Straight Talk iPhone 6, I think what you're going to find out is they're going to tell you the phone's not compatible. It can't be registered. And it's not because it's not technically compatible. It's just because there's probably a business arrangement between Straight Talk and Verizon where Verizon has agreed not to register Straight Talk's phones on Verizon's network. Neither Verizon nor Straight Talk are in the business of just selling phones. They're not interested in selling you a phone that you can take and use with another network. They only want to sell phones to their customers, people that are going to use their service. Now, let me show you here. If I enter in the device ID for a phone I have, it says I can use this iPhone 6 with Verizon. You'll see here it says, congratulations, your device works on the Verizon wireless network. Now, at this point, if I had a SIM card, I'd be able to go through and sign up and activate that SIM, put it in the phone, and use it. But if it says that the device is not compatible, I'm not able to complete the sign up process and activate the SIM and then use the phone on the network. All right, now, hey, let's take a look at this phone in the store. Here's that iPhone 6 Timothy was talking about. It's $200. That's a really good deal. They're going to sell a lot of these phones. In fact, if I click on select here, it looks like the phone's not even available at this time, but I can enter my email and they'll let me know when I can buy it. All right, now a couple other things I wanted to point out here. If you're going to buy a phone from Straight Talk, just understand whether the phone is new, pre-owned, or reconditioned. Now you'll see here this phone is marked as new, but I think this just means that the phone is new in their store. But this phone is probably new. But if we look here on the right, you'll see that's the iPhone 4 is listed as CPO, that's certified pre-owned. So this is a used phone. Now, if we look down, we'll see there's two iPhone 5Ss. There's an iPhone 5S here and an iPhone 5S reconditioned. Now, this phone on the left is probably a new phone. It doesn't say that it's reconditioned or it's pre-owned. And this phone is listed as reconditioned. Now, this is important to understand, and I'd say read through the details to understand the warranty information about the differences between a new, a pre-owned, and a reconditioned phone. All right, now, you said that this was the Verizon or the CDMA version of the phone. There's no way to know that just by looking at what's written here. In fact, the only way I know to check is to click on this live chat button and then ask the service rep. Just say, hi, my zip code is the zip code of wherever you live, and say, I want to buy this iPhone 6. Can you tell me whether it uses the AT&T or Verizon towers? And they'll go off and they'll check and let you know. The other thing I wanted to point out is $200. This is a really good deal. I think that this phone is being sold at a reduced cost to get you to sign up for the service. And because of that, I suspect that it's probably activation locked. That means that you'll only be able to use it with a Straight Talk SIM in it. And if that's the case, you won't be able to use it with any other service. Now, Straight Talk does have an unlocking policy. It's the same unlocking policy for all the TracFone brands. Straight Talk is owned by TracFone. And their unlocking policy says you need to use the phone for 12 months before they will unlock it. Now, in the case of a Verizon phone, I don't necessarily think this means that after 12 months, you'll be able to use that phone with a Verizon. But I have no way to know for sure. You'd have to ask TracFone for the details about that. Now, if we go back, I noticed you said, well, maybe I'll use Straight Talk instead if I can't use it with Verizon Prepaid. Well, you definitely can do that. I mean, that's the whole point of this deal is they want you to sign up for the service. As of June 2017, I think there are better options if you want to use the Verizon network with a prepaid wireless company. Verizon's own prepaid service, I think, has a better deal. The data is faster. You can potentially get more data. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you'll also get to take advantage of a number of the features of Verizon's 4G LTE network that are not available with Straight Talk. Verizon's plans are a little bit more expensive. They have a $40 plan that comes with 2 gigabytes of data. So if you don't need so much data, that could be a little bit less expensive. And then there's another option, Total Wireless. Now, this company is also owned by TracFone, the same company that owns Straight Talk. And they have a $35 plan that comes with 5 gigabytes of high-speed data. I think that's a better deal. Now, the only difference I can tell between the two services is that when you use up your 5 gigabytes of data with Straight Talk, you'll have unlimited reduced speed or 2G speed data. But many people I talk to find that data too slow to be useful for anything. And with Total Wireless, you can add 3 gigabytes of high-speed data for $10 that doesn't expire as long as your phone is active. So I think these two companies are better options. One thing I just wanted to point out is that this is a pretty good price, but just make sure you consider the total cost of the service and the price of the phone when you're shopping, because it's going to cost you $120 more a year to use Straight Talk than it would Total Wireless. So if you were to buy a phone for Total Wireless and spend $320, then you'd be spending exactly the same amount of money. So just keep that in mind. I hope this helps you out. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.